Why does Namine exist? A question that I'm sure has crossed the mind of anyone that has seen Kingdom Hearts 2, and till this day has never been answered. Sure, Kairi lost her heart, but so did the rest of the princesses. However, none of them have nobodies. Most just chalk it up to nonsense that shouldn't be thought too hard about. However, what if I told you the answer was always there? First, let's talk about when Namine was created. She and Roxas were created at the same time, when Sora released his heart in order to return Kairi's. Now it's obvious that Roxas was born because Sora's body went bye-bye, but Kairi is clearly right there. Or is she? What if that isn't Kairi's original body? Don't call me crazy just yet. Remember the scene where Kairi originally disappeared? She flew into Sora's arm and poof, she's gone. In hindsight, we just assume that was the moment her heart entered Sora, but what if that was actually her entire body that entered Sora? It would explain both why her body was gone in that moment and why Namine and Roxas were created simultaneously. As for the body double that Riku retrieved, it's possible that it was a fake, or maybe that body is even more real. There are so many possibilities. I'd love to hear what you think it could be. That's it for Food for Thought. I made it short and sweet, but if you'd like to hear me elaborate more, then stick around for the secret ending. Would like Food for Thought? Then check out the rest of my channel. Want to see some actually well thought out analysis and theories with a bunch of evidence to back them up? Well then check out my series Deep Dive. Thanks for watching. So what'd you think? Kinda crazy, huh? 2 Kairis and then one of them turned into Namine? It's insane, but I think I made some compelling points even in such short amount of time. Now before I go into showing in more evidence to reinforce my theory, I just want to address 2 things. First, it shouldn't be too out of this world to think Namine was made from nothing. They are nobodies after all. I just want to be transparent and state, yes, it is possible. However, if there's a chance that she was made from something and we can actually find the source or origin of where she came from, I might as well dive into the topic, which I think I did a pretty good job at. Second, which may be the biggest elephant in the room, is well, why is there 2 Kairis? I do have an answer for that, however, it takes far too long to answer, which is why it'll be addressed in a future episode of Deep Dive. With that out of the way, we're going to look at some secret reports from Kingdom Hearts 2, specifically 9, 10, and 12. So we're actually going to start with 12 because it doesn't have that much, but we'll pretty much set the stage for the rest of the reports. Okay, Ansem Secret Report 12. First passage we're going to read is, it would seem Roxas is much like Namine. Namine is Kairi's nobody, but came into being via Sora's body and soul. So that's obviously very odd, but clearly following the line of thinking of my theory. Namine came to being because of Sora's body and soul. Clearly not because of Kairi's, but apparently she's Kairi's nobody, which doesn't make much sense, but we'll keep going. Okay, likewise, Roxas is a nobody. Yeah, we don't need to know that for this theory. So let's move on to another passage. Apart from Namine, nobodies retain their memories of their time as humans, but Sora's nobody, Roxas, has lost Sora's memories. So you gotta start piecing together the puzzle, reading between the lines. What is it about nobodies that we know would make them have the memories of them as a human? There's really only 2 things that make up a nobody: the body and soul of the original somebody. So what this tells us is that when the nobody doesn't have the memories of their somebody, it means they either don't have the soul of their somebody or they're missing a huge chunk of the soul of the nobody. So in Roxas's case, I'm assuming he pretty much didn't have Sora's soul or is missing a majority of his soul to not have any memories. But from 358 days, Roxas never really showed having Sora's memory, so we can just assume he didn't even have any part of Sora's soul. Same thing with Namine, she did not have Kairi's soul. But how is she a nobody? The only thing that's left is the body. So she was just a body of Kairi's, but that doesn't make sense because where would the body come from? Clearly we saw in KH1, Kairi's vessel, her body, was there on the ground that Riku found. But anyway, report 12 only just leads to questions. When you look at the next report 9, it starts giving you more answers. Now before I get started on report 9, I have to mention that Ansem the Wise is not the end-all be-all of knowledge in Kingdom Hearts. While he is very wise, top 5 when it comes to knowledge in the series, he himself has admitted in his own reports that he doesn't know everything and has been wrong at times. That's actually important because what 9 is going to provide for us is showing us the inconsistencies throughout the series that show that Namine wasn't created by normal means, and even hints towards there being more than one Kairi. So let's go. First we have Namine was a witch who controlled memories. She's special. Yeah, we know that. Namine is a nobody created when a young girl's heart left her body. So boom, there's the first major problem. So unless the young girl in question is Sora, this doesn't make sense. Because Kairi lost her heart on Destiny Island at the beginning of the game, but Namine was created all the way at Hollow Bastion, the end of the game. So clearly there's a problem there. That's just setting it up. Moving on, with no darkness in her heart, Kairi produced no Heartless. Instead of vanishing, her body remained in the realm of light. So there's another problem. It says instead of vanishing, but from what we know in Destiny Island, she did disappear. However, there could be a specific term when it comes to vanishing, because Ansem wasn't there, so he wouldn't know what happened. So he could be thinking of vanishing in the terms of how Sora was when he became Heartless, how Master Xehanort was when he took over Terra's body. There's usually a dissipating of the body. It, turns into those gold light orbs and just flows all over the place. That could be the vanishing Ansem is referring to, in which that never did happen to Kairi. She was just gone all of a sudden. My theory, I think she actually went into Sora's body. And then it says, never left the realm of light. Well, that was never a question, but that should get you thinking, why would that even be something Ansem would consider, that her body remained in the realm of light? That's not going to get us anywhere in this specific theory, but, keep that in mind. Anyway, so it gets really confusing in this next passage. In other words, both nobody called Namine and the Heartless, proof of a lost heart, are extremely unstable beings who lack the bodies needed to produce a nobody. So this is so confusing. I'm almost thinking that it's a translation error because it really doesn't make that much sense. But maybe it's so confusing that there's even more answers in it. Like, why would Namine produce a nobody? And then next it says, therefore, they also lack Kairi's memory. I mean, who's the they? Namine and the Heartless? So it's a little confusing, but it still goes to show that clearly a lot more thought has gone into how Namine was created, other than just the fact that she's Kairi's nobody. So I'm just going to move on because I can admit that I don't have that much to work with it because it really does confuse me that much. But if we move on, it goes to, that is, Namine is an alter ego of the Kairi who has directly interfered with Sora's heart. Now, you can't tell me that's not odd. Why would it say the Kairi? Why would it not just say Namine is the alter ego of Kairi? And that should, red flag should be going off in your head. The alter ego of the Kairi who has directly interfered with Sora's heart. So yeah, there's clearly a lot of confusing things here, and I believe it's confusing on purpose. It's not because of a writing error or completely on just translation, although it could partly be translation, but I do think it's intentionally made to show that even Ansem the Wise is confused by Kairi. Kairi and Namine and Sora, because even he doesn't understand what's going on with these people. There's clearly a lot more to it. Now we're going to move on to 10, where we can have even more answers, more clarification. Okay, so we're moving on to report 10. So what we have here, if you go, and we'll skip all the way to the middle where we have, I believe that Namine was born as a special type of nobody when Sora attacked himself with the Keyblade, causing his and Kairi's hearts to leave their bodies simultaneously. That I'm almost would dare say that proves my theory correct. Because look at the words. Leave their bodies simultaneously. It says there. It doesn't say his body, because Ansem knows that Kairi's heart was inside of Sora's body. So it would say Kairi's heart leave his body, but it says their bodies. So not only does it say their, but it says bodies with an S, plural. There was more than one body there. more than one body belonging to more than one person. But then, per usual, there's inconsistencies, because down there it says, as a nobody belonged to Sora. So that's already weird by itself, to say that Namine belongs to Sora. If Namine belonged to Sora, then why is she Kairi's? But clearly there's co-ownership over Namine, because Kairi's body assimilated into Sora's. So when he released Namine and Roxas simultaneously, it was his body, his one body. But because Kairi's body was inside of Sora's, it released two nobodies at the same time. And the body had once originally belonged to Kairi. So that's why Namine is Kairi's nobody, even though she's really Sora's nobody. It's complicated, but hey, this is something that hasn't been answered for over a decade. To figure it out, you really have to put your brain into overdrive. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The rest of the report is what we already know. Nobodies are created when the heart is lost. And it says Kairi's heart was lost when it migrated to Sora's. Clearly another inconsistency. If her heart was lost when it migrated to Sora, that would mean Namine would have been created all the way back in Destiny Island, but it was created in Hollow Bastion. So yeah, I'm a broken record at this point, and I hope that provided you enough proof. If you watched this far, well, thank you for watching.